Danill Dubov from Russia is playing against Hans Niemann from the United States. If you follow the news, you know that Hans lost the previous match to Dubov and he's back in Russia to have a revenge. This is a blitz chess match and we are going to look at the third game. Insane and marvelous tactical chess game. Daniil is playing with the white pieces, 27-95. He kicked off with pawn to d4. Hans Niemann with the black pieces, his rating is 27-36, responds with d5. This is a blitz chess match. c4, c6, we have the Slav defense, and after knight f6, knight f3, we have c takes d5, exchange Slav. Is Daniil wants to play for draw? No. If you know Danill Dubov, you know that he's going to just play for win. C takes d5, knight c3, knight c6, and now bishop f4. White is going to control this diagonal. By the way, we are having a look at this game in Endgame.ai website, a website which is launched recently by Hans Niemann. And pawn to a6 to prevent any kind of knight b5 to go to c7. And now queen b3 by Danill Dubov. This comes as a surprise to Hans Niemann. The best move in this position is to play pawn to e6 and to secure the d5 pawn and develop this bishop. But Hans wanted to develop his bishop out and then play e6. This is why he played rook a7, a very strange move in this position to just safeguard the pawn on b7. But after e3, Hans changed his mind and he doesn't develop his bishop. He was hesitating here to develop or not, and after that he plays e6, but this gives Daniil a big edge. Now bishop to d3, white is ahead in development. After knight h5, a very important move, bishop to e5. If you're going to take, the knight will come to e5 and it will be a very great spot for the knight. So Hans plays f6, now bishop back to g3. If you take, I'll just recapture, and this rook and bishop are very powerful on this line. So Hans plays g6. This is this kind of setup and this kind of play is also seen in like London system when black players are playing against London. So black is not taking this pawn till white castles, and in this position Daniil just castles short side. And after this he plays bishop b7, but now black is behind in development, and when he's behind in development, what we should do, we should open up the center. Danill Dubov just played e4. He's going to crack open the position. This d5 pawn is hanging. If you take, then I will just simply recapture with knight, with bishop, with whatever, especially with bishop, and then d5 is coming, and this queen is doing very important tasks. In this position, Hans just played knight takes g3, h takes g3, and played a very strange move, b5. And Daniil was completely shocked by this move. Like, what is the idea? If I'm taking, it's a free pawn, free central pawn. What are you going to do? If you're going to play knight a5, I will just simply come back with my queen, and this is great. But when he takes, Hans just comes with another surprise, knight to b4, attacking this and attacking this. Basically saying you have to move your bishop and then I will take back the pawn. And if you play bishop to e4, I will just simply play f5. But Danill Dubov is the god of creativity in chess. He is the creative guy. He is the creativest guy in the chess, and he done something here very special. He just took on e6, sacrificing the bishop. He says just take it, and Hans has to take it. He lost 2 pawns, he just takes it. And after rook d1, he says, where are you going to go with your knight? Especially I have a pawn here. If you're going to play knight b4, d5 is just simply coming. White is also threatening some kind of d6 and a3. And this position is just basically over. This is just over for black. Like if you play a5 to secure some space for your knight to go back, then I have knight takes b5. And after this, d6 is just crashing. So in this position, Hans decides to go for a practical solution. He plays queen d6, rook takes d3, bishop takes e6. The only problem with this website is when you draw arrows, it doesn't go away when you play moves. You need to click every single time. Pawn to d5, and now white has a very better position. He's a pawn up, of course. This d5 pawn is an extra pawn for white. I thought Hans will play bishop f5 to prevent any kind of thing, but it's also lost. But now Daniil plays knight d4, and after queen b6, he's just relying on the fact that this pawn is pinned to the queen, so you cannot push it. But Hans just Dubov plays queen to c3, attacking everything. D6 is coming, knight takes f6 is coming. Black just castled at this stage. It's too late, but now Dubov pushes. The game is still going. Black has 2 bishops, he just plays bishop d8. Okay, this is probably lost for black, but in practical terms, it's not easy to finish them. Like b3 is the best move in this position. It's not so easy to find it. So Dubov just plays rook e1 to just put his rook in a very, very good situation. Like on e8, e7, this line is a very important line for this rook. It's an open line. Black plays bishop c4, go away with your rook. Rook comes back to d1, connected rooks. f5, black is coming, like knight g5, and now bishop to f6. He finds some tricks, and in this position, this website doesn't show the times when the game is finished, but I'm just telling you that both players were under like 15 seconds, and Dubov just plays queen d2 very fastly. Hans do another practical decision, bishop takes a2, very good. If not this, white is just going to play b3. He has an extra pawn and everything, so this is good. You know, you put pressure, even especially in time troubles on your opponent. And now d7, okay, rook e8 is coming. Hans plays bishop b3. Nevertheless, rook e8 is coming. And now white is going to launch a very, very powerful attack. If you take here, bishop queen d5 is finished. And now Hans just relying on this rook a8. He's basically praying that he's not going to lose. In this position, white could have played a very, very beautiful move, queen to b4. I'm going to take on here, and if you take, I'll take back with check. You take back, and now queen takes b3. I win a piece, and this queen will also penetrate. So this was a winning tactic, but in this position, Dubov just played the move on 1 or 2 seconds, and he just took on a8, takes back, and here he played rook e1. Once again, wants to penetrate. But Hans played queen c6, preventing rook e8. He was very, very practical in these points. But after that, knight to e5, another good move. Queen d5, suddenly, if you are not focused, because both of these knights are hanging, now your queen is hanging. Now queen b4 was the move, but okay, Dubov was just hesitating in this position and just took on d5, take back. And in this position, he played rook to d1, like attacking this guy. Both of the knights are hanging, but I'm going to take your bishop. This is time trouble, time scramble, and let's see what happened. Bishop to b3, good move. Rook d3 and bishop to c4. In this position, okay, I have to clear the arrows. Knight takes here, takes, and suddenly it looks like this is hanging, but Dubov finds rook e3. Rook e3 is coming with rook e8. Can you find how black soul can escape in this position? Because rook e8 is coming. If you take rook e8 check, I'll take your rook and you will win. And Hans didn't found it at this position. It was too hard, especially when you have very, very limited amount of time on your clock. The move was rook f8, and the basic thing is if you play here, I'll just take on g5 now. This is the reason. And if you play knight d6, this is also not easy to spot. Now bishop to d8. This is the hardest thing to spot, because if you take here, black, no, it's not bishop d8. What am I talking about? The engine says bishop d8 is draw, but knight takes f8 exists. What am I talking about? So maybe there was no way, huh? So this engine on this website, I can show you the engine, yeah? I can show you the engine. It says bishop d8. But what is this? Knight takes f8. And knight takes d8 also. And also knight takes d8. Is there any other options? No, I'm just going to take. No, it's over. It's over. So Dubov was playing it all good. Maybe he was playing it all good all the way around. Maybe at some points, like, no, it was all winning. So this is the only way. This is the only way. So this is all best lines by engine. I will have to just do this. Yeah, this is all best lines by engine, and at this position Dubov is completely winning. Even engine goes crazy with this game. Rook a7 and rook e8 check. Okay, let me once again clear the arrows. And now white is a piece up, and here Hans Niemann resigned. Let's watch the game once again from the beginning. Okay, I have to fix this once again. I screwed up a little bit since analyzing the position, but yeah, let's keep it like this. Okay, and then let's watch the game from the beginning. In this game, Danill Dubov kicked out with d4. We have a Slav defense and bishop f4. This queen b3, very, very important factor. e6 was the best, but he played rook a7. And after that, Hans Niemann was actually caught by surprise in the opening, and white break open the center. And after this, with this crazy pawn sacrifice to have some dynamic balance, but Danill Dubov just sacrificed the piece. And after this, he regained the piece. And after this, this was just a piece of cake for him. I thought that Daniel played wrong, but based on the fact you should analyze this game with bigger. Till now, white is completely winning. Okay, till here, it's like it says f4, but rook d1. If you move away your bishop to another kind of square, white has just simple knight d. Oh no, not knight d6. But where the bishop can go. I mean, if you go here, white it has knight f7. One of these knights can go to f7, and then d8 is coming. So white is winning. Bishop b3, rook d3. Once again, bishop c4 is best by engine, and after rook e3, engine actually says it's draw, but no, it's not draw. If you play rook f8, knight d6 is just completely lost. Rook a7, rook e8, and here Dubov managed to finish off Hans Niemann. This is the third game. I will update you most probably with what happened in this match. If you like me to do so, please like the video, please write comments in the comment section, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friend. And remember always to enjoy chess and life.